रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मतिमलहरणं मङ्गलकरणं भवजलतरणं श्रीचरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणं मम रामकृष्ण चरणं शरणम् ॐ श्री रामकृष्ण भगवान की जय।
ॐ हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
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 आबद पांडव 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 गोविन्दा
गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथरक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथ रक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथरक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथ रक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
वेणुविलोला गोविन्दा विजय गोपाल 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 गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
रामकृष्ण तत्सत् रामकृष्ण ॐ ॐ 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 जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
आबद पांडव गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
आबद पांडव गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथरक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
अनाथ रक्षक गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
वेणुविलोला गोविन्दा विजय गोपाल गोविन्दा
वेणुविलोला गोविन्दा विजय गोपाल गोविन्दा
रामकृष्ण तत्सत् रामकृष्ण ॐ ॐ जगन्नारायण 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 गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगन्नारायण गोविन्दा
हरिनारायण गोविन्दा जगनारायण गोविंदा
हरि नारायण गोविंदा जगनारायण गोविंदा
हरि नारायण गोविंदा जगनारायण गोविंदा
ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय। अम्बे अम्बे मात की जय। श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती श्री दुर्गा मात की जय। तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिदा जनाः। The nectar of your sin-effacing utterances brings life and hope to those scorched by misery. They are extolled by wise sages, and the mere listening to them would bring auspiciousness to all. They confer every prosperity. Those who spread them broadcast are verily magnanimous. They distribute what is completely satisfying to the hearers. Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. We pray that this new year brings good to all. May we be saved and protected so that we can enjoy good health. Everyone has struggled in some way or the other during the past 2 years. Our revered Guruji used to advise us to make a resolution at the beginning of a new year. Sri Swami Shivapadananji Maharaj would say, if you have not performed your japa or said your morning and evening prayers regularly, then resolve to start today. Be determined to do what is good for you. Then you and everyone around you will benefit. Our revered Guruji used to say, go back to the scriptures. The answers to all your questions are there. So today, let us read from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, a practical scripture which is relevant for today. Sri Ramakrishna, the Master, guides us so that we do not become attached to any of our activities, which will later become an obstacle on our spiritual journey. We shall continue reading from the chapter Festival at Panihati. A devotee asks Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, you met Pandit Vidyasagar. What did you think of him? Master, Vidyasagar has both scholarship and charity, but he lacks inner vision. Gold lies hidden within him. Had he but found it out, his activities would have been reduced, and finally, they would have stopped altogether. Had he but known that God resides in his heart, his mind would have been directed to God in thought and meditation. Some persons must perform selfless work a long time before they can practice dispassion and direct their minds to the spiritual ideal and at last be absorbed in God. Sri Ramakrishna, the Master, clearly informs us that there are different stages of spiritual development. Each person progresses according to his or her understanding and capability. Master indicates that performing acts of charity is very good, as these selfless actions help to purify the mind and allow us to think of God. Master says that if Vidyasagar knew that God was in his heart, his mind would have been directed to God in thought and meditation. He would have increased his devotion to God and realized the ultimate truth according to Master. But as Master says, some people have to perform selfless work for a long time before they can practice dispassion and direct their minds to the spiritual ideal and at last be absorbed in God. So, as Sri Krishna Bhagwan advises in the Bhagavad Gita, we should do all our duties in a spirit of dispassion. It is attachment that prevents us from progressing or being successful in spiritual life. Somehow we become attached to our actions and cannot go further. Sri Ramakrishna continues. The activities that Vidyasagar is engaged in are good. Charity is very noble. There is a great difference between daya, that is compassion, and maya, attachment. Daya is good, but not maya. Maya is love for one's relatives, one's wife, children, brother, sister, nephew, father, and mother. But daya is the same love for all created beings without any distinction. The Master explains that daya means to serve all with the same love, having the same compassion for all of creation. Once, when the Master was talking to the devotees in his room at Dakshineshwar, he made an amazing statement, which no one had heard before. He said, Shiva Gnane Jiva Seva. Serve every being as the manifestation of God. Young Narendra, later Swami Vivekananda, was also present at that time. And Master said, who are we to have compassion? No, not compassion to others, but service to them as Shiva. Everyone listened, but only Narendra could understand its true meaning at that time. Narendranath came out of the room and said, what a wonderful light I have got today from the Master's words. Whenever I get the opportunity, I will broadcast this wonderful doctrine of serving God in each living being. Thus, Swamiji said, service to man is worship of God. We see how this teaching has become enlivened by putting it into practice. This idea of serving God in man is now practiced throughout the world. Thousands of people, the givers and the receivers, are benefiting by it. Master says, this is daya, but maya is love for one's relatives only, one's wife, children, and immediate family. This leads to attachment, and a sense of pride and selfishness overtakes us. Through selfless service, without wanting anything in return, it helps us to increase our devotion to God, because we try to think of God when we are giving things to others, feeling the presence of God in their hearts. This leads to yearning for God and not being satisfied merely by giving in charity. Master is speaking from personal experience. Master was always compassionate. He always gave to the poor, but at the same time, his deep and sincere yearning for God enabled him to actually see God, to have a vision of God. Actually, Master used to see God all the time. Master knows every inch of the way, so he can advise us correctly. Now, M, the recorder of the gospel, asks the Master the next question. M, is daya also a bondage? Now, this is a very important question, because we will think that daya is all very good, but M wants to know if daya is also a bondage. We may think, since we are doing good work, then all is well and we will progress. Let us listen to what the Master says. Master, yes, it is. There is a bondage, but that concept is something far beyond the ordinary man's understanding. It is enlightening for us to know that Hinduism is a graded course. It has answers to every religious or spiritual question. But as our master says, you cannot make one jacket and expect it to fit everyone. Each person will evolve according to his or her understanding. The more we try to improve, the better for us. Knowledge of the divine is very subtle and can be known through regular sadhana, keeping good and holy company, and by being sincere. So, Master says the concept that Jaya is also a bondage is something far beyond the ordinary man's understanding. Master says Jaya springs from Sattva. Sattva preserves, Rajas creates, and Tamas destroys. But Brahman is beyond the three gunas. These three gunas, that is, Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. It is beyond Prakriti. Now, the scriptures also say that Brahman, or the absolute reality, God without a name and without a form, is beyond the reach of the mind and senses. Hence, it is beyond the three gunas also. Chapters 14, 17, and 18 of the Bhagavad Gita explain the three gunas in detail. Our thoughts, words, and deeds can be classified into these three gunas. We learn what qualities we must avoid and what we should cultivate to improve ourselves. It is very interesting to note how we can benefit by practicing sattvic qualities. It's wonderful to read these chapters and know what is good for us. Master continues, none of the three gunas can reach the ultimate truth. They are like robbers. We cannot come to a public place for fear of being arrested. The gunas cannot come to a public place for fear of being arrested. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas are like so many robbers, says Sri Ramakrishna. You see, the master is an expert in explaining deep Vedantic truths through parables. So let us picture the scene as master explains the gunas through a perfect parable. Master says, listen to a story. Once, a man was going through a forest when three robbers fell upon him and robbed him of all his possessions. One of the robbers said, what is the use of keeping this man alive? So saying, he was about to kill him with his sword when the second robber interrupted, saying, oh no, what is the use of killing him? Tie him hand and foot and leave him here. The robbers bound his hands and feet and went away. After a while, the third robber returned and said to the man, I am sorry. Are you hurt? I will release you from your bonds. After setting the man free, the thief said, come with me. I will take you to the public highway. After a long time, they reached the road. Then the robber said, follow this road. Over there you will find your house. At this, the man said, sir, you have been very good to me. Come with me to my house. Oh no, said the robber, I can't go there. The police will know about it. Master explains further, this world itself is the forest. The three robbers prowling here are sattva, rajas, and tamas. It is they that rob a man of the knowledge of truth. Tamas wants to destroy him. So tamas means qualities like inertia, laziness, and not wanting to do anything. So that is tamas, wants to destroy us. Rajas binds him to the world. Rajas is activity all the time. Like they say, so and so is a workaholic, and we don't have time to meditate and pray. We want to be active all the time. So that is being rajasic. So Master says, Rajas binds him to the world, but sattva rescues him from the clutches of rajas and tamas. Sattva are the qualities of sattva, as we read in the Bhagavad Gita, cultivating calmness, purity of heart, studying the scriptures. Those are cultivating sattvic qualities. So sattva rescues him from the clutches of rajas and tamas. Under the protection of sattva, man is rescued from anger, passion, and the other evil effects of tamas. Further, sattva loosens the bonds of the world, but sattva also is a robber, said the Master. It cannot give him the ultimate knowledge of truth, though it shows him the road leading to the supreme abode of God. Setting him on the path, sattva tells him, look yonder, there is your home. Even sattva is far away from the knowledge of Brahman. So in other words, sattva shows us how to come near Brahman, how to get to the path of Brahman, how to realize Brahman, but yet it is far from Brahman itself. This is a very interesting parable to explain how sattva shows us the way to God, but does not take us to God. During this new year, may we increase our time that we spend with God. We can enjoy singing to God, listening to the many enchanting and soothing chants from our scriptures. So much is available on the internet. Let us make use of them and inspire our minds to live in holy company. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is also available on the internet. You can just download it, save it, and read a few lines every day. Master's deep wisdom and practical advice motivates us and adds meaning to life. May this year bring good tidings to all. May all evils subside. May we progress and help those in need, and also help each other to go forward. As Swami Vivekananda says, may strong, helpful thoughts fill our minds, and may the world we live in become full of love, peace, and unity. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
शुभ साधक मतिमल पावक चिर शुभ साधक मतिमल पावक जय चित संशय त्राता सागर नटवर नागर जय सुख सागर नटवर नागर जय शरणागत पाता जय शरणागत पाता ब्रह्मतम भास्कर जय परमेश्वर सुखकर सुंदर भाषा अचल सनातन जय भव पावन अचल सनातन जय भव पावन जय विजयी अविनाशी जय विजयी अविनाशी भक्त कवि मोहन वरतनु धारण जय हरि कीर्तन भोला गद गद भाषण चित मन तोषण गद गद भाषण चित मन तोषण धल धल नर्तन लीला धल धल नर्तन लीला मति गति वर्धन कलिमल मर्दन विषय विराग प्रसारी जल चित चेतक भव जल भेलक जल चित चेतक भव जल भेलक जय नर मानस चारी जय नर मानस चारी जय पुरुषोत्तम अनुपम संयम जय जय अंतर्यामी हर तर साधन नर दुख वारन हर तर साधन नर दुख वारन जय राम कृष्ण नमामि 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 ओम श्री राम कृष्ण भगवान की जय
Om Namo Narayanaya, dear sisters and brothers. Let us sit in a relaxed posture and concentrate our minds on the luminous form of God seated in our hearts. A verse in praise of Sri Ramakrishna says, "You give the bliss of your vision to those who surrender to you, and you remove totally the darkness of ignorance in them. O Son of Knowledge, O Ocean of Devotion, O Remover of everyone's sufferings, O Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, we adore you this holy morning." Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु शान्तिः हरि ओम तत्सत्।
जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय, महामाई की जय, स्वामी जी महाराज की जय, गंगा मात की जय, महावीर स्वामी जी की जय, सर्व ऋषि मुनियों की जय।